Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into something that is completely shaking up U.S. tech immigration, a massive policy shift, and we're going to explore what it really means for the future of innovation. All right, let's just jump right in with one single jaw-dropping number, $100,000. So what is that number? Well, believe it or not, that could be the new annual price tag for just one high-skilled foreign tech worker. And yeah, this is the very heart of a new executive order that is sending some serious shockwaves through the entire tech world. Okay, so let's break down this 100,000K visa shock. What exactly went down here? Well, on September 19th, 2025, a presidential proclamation basically just changed the whole game for H-1B visas. So they're calling it the H-1B visa fee executive order. And what it does is slap a new $100,000 annual fee on employers for every new H-1B visa. The idea, or at least the stated goal, is to really push companies to put American workers first. I mean, we're talking about a jump from a few $1,000s to six figures a year for every single employee. That's a huge leap, designed to make companies really think twice. And the rollout? Oh man, it was just pure chaos. For about 72 hours, nobody knew what was going on. The order was signed on the 19th, and it just created total confusion. By the 20th, you had widespread panic among current visa holders. Companies were literally telling their employees who were traveling abroad to rush back to the U.S. before the rule kicked in. Things got so messy that the White House had to jump in and clarify, hey, hold on, this only applies to new applicants, not people renewing their visas. Then, on the 21st, it all became official. So you gotta ask, who really gets hit the hardest by this new, let's call it what it is, a talent tax? Well, you can see right here, the impact really starts with the big guys, big tech. They are, by far, the biggest users of these H-1B visas. I mean, just look at Amazon. They're leading the pack with over 12,000 approvals in just the first half of 2025. That's a ton. And when you start doing the math, the financial hit it's just astronomical. We're talking about a new billion-dollar expense. If you annualize those numbers we just saw and apply the new fee, I mean, a company like Amazon is suddenly staring down the barrel of a potential $2.4 billion new cost. Microsoft and Meta, $1 billion each. Even for companies swimming in cash, that is a massive new line item on the budget. But look, this isn't just about the giants. Think of it like a ripple effect spreading across the entire tech ecosystem. Big tech faces billions in new costs, sure, but what about startups? They might get completely priced out of the market for critical foreign talent. IT consulting firms that run on way thinner margins, their profits could get absolutely shredded. And let's not forget the talent themselves, especially skilled workers from India, who make up a whopping 71% of all H-1B holders. Suddenly, their opportunities in the US could just dry up. Yeah, let's get specific. Imagine a small startup, maybe 100 people. We'll call them TechStart. They desperately need to hire 3 world-class AI specialists to build their product. Well, now that's going to cost them an extra $300,000 a year. That's money they just don't have. For a small company, that's not just a budget problem. It can be a death blow. It forces them to either scrap those hiring plans or maybe move those jobs to another country entirely. So this all leads to a really big and frankly kind of scary question. Is there a coming talent crisis? What does all this mean for America's edge when it comes to innovation? Well, analysts are definitely sounding the alarm. As this one from Reuters puts it, the U.S. risks taxing away its innovation edge, trading dynamism for short-sighted protectionism. And that really gets to the heart of it, right? The big fear is that by making it so much harder and way more expensive to attract the best and brightest from around the world, the U.S. could actually be shooting itself in the foot, especially in this global race for AI dominance. Because let's be real, if the top talent goes somewhere else, so does the innovation. Okay, so if that pipeline of global talent gets pinched, what's the alternative? Well, the focus has to shift, and it has to shift fast to building up talent right here at home. We have to start bridging that gap. And this is exactly where organizations like Colaberry come into the picture. They're all about offering accelerated training programs that can turn U.S. residents into job-ready tech professionals. In fact, this whole explainer is brought to you by Colaberry Labs because they are pioneering a really interesting solution to this exact problem, building that robust, homegrown talent pipeline that companies are now desperate for. So how does it work? The Colaberry model is pretty straightforward, and it's designed to be a direct pathway into a tech career. First, you get intensive, rigorous training in high-demand skills. We're talking SQL, Python, AI, the stuff employers are actually hiring for. Then, and this is the key part, you do a real-world internship. Every single student works with a real business on a real project. So when you graduate, you don't just walk away with a certificate, you walk away with a resume and a portfolio, making you valuable from day one. So let's talk about what this actually looks like for a real person. Let's look at a homegrown success story. This is Craig, and his story is pretty cool. He's 20, and as he puts it, he's making a lot more than most 20-year-olds. Instead of going the traditional 4-year college route right after high school, he jumped into a data analytics bootcamp with Colaberry. In just a matter of months, he got the skills, did his internship, and boom, landed a job as a Power BI developer. And when you compare these two paths to a tech career, the difference is just stark. On one side, you have Craig's bootcamp path. He's in the workforce in months, he has little to no student debt, and he's already earning around $70,000 at age 20. On the other side, the traditional 4-year degree path, well, you're in school for 4+ years, you're often taking on significant debt, and at age 20, your salary is zero because you're, well, still in school. It's a really powerful alternative to consider. So, this brings us back to the big picture. America's at an innovation crossroads. This new policy really forces a major question about the future of the entire U.S. tech industry. Where is the talent going to come from? All right, so what are the key takeaways here? First, the $100,000 fee has totally upended the old way of doing things. The status quo is gone. Second, this forces companies to adapt, to seriously consider investing way more in training people here at home. And that creates a huge opportunity, a surge in demand for graduates from accelerated programs like Colaberry. But finally, there's still a lot of uncertainty. We just don't know what the long-term economic impact will be. Which leads us to the final critical question. Will the U.S. end up taxing its innovation away? Or will this challenge force it to build a stronger, more resilient tech workforce from within? You know, ultimately, America is at a crossroads. The path it chooses now, whether that's through new policies or a massive investment in its own people, is going to decide the future of its tech leadership on the world stage. The only thing we know for sure is that the game has completely changed.